Blu-ray stacking up, yeah, the collection grows. Singing like nobody's watching, let the good times flow. Movies on repeat, yeah, he living that life. Great guy, big heart, yeah, he doing it right. Screen light glowing while the speakers bang. Sammy G vibing to the scenes and the frames. Love for the art, yeah, the passion stay true. From the first press play to the end credits roll.
Hello all, welcome back to another video and welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Today on the channel is going to be part 1 of my June 2026 watches. Now, I must confess, I was thinking about doing this video, I didn't know, maybe it's later into the week, but I have watched about 20 plus films already, guys, so I thought I would just knuckle down and showcase the films that I have watched for the first part of the month. And plus, I love doing these videos as well. These and my Unwatched Shelf series, they are like my favourite videos to make, because the Unwatched Shelf is just a great way to discover new movies movies for the first time that I haven't seen. Well, it's a great way to discover movies I haven't seen, but also this is just a great way to kind of showcase revisits and first time watches and cinema trips and all that whole shebang, really. So yep, gonna get right into it. Some of these I'm probably not gonna spend ages talking about because there's a lot to talk about here, but gonna get right into it now with the first film I watched in the month of June was from William Friedkin, and that is the film Hunted. Now, Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro, and quite an interesting film where you get this guy, I think played by Benicio del Toro, brought to the attention of this, the US government, this police force that he, I think went to, Colombia, and he murdered these two guys. So he's around, I'm trying to think, what is it, San Francisco, I think it is, and basically the US military, the police force, are basically assigned to try and catch out this guy, but there needs the help of this retired cop, played by Tommy Lee Jones, lieutenant or retired cop played by Tommy Lee Jones, and this lady basically assigned to try and catch out this guy. And it was all right, it was fine, guys. It was quite interesting, but just not really gonna be in a mad hurry to revisit that one. But there was some nice, obviously there was some good chase scenes, especially I think on that train and that metro, and then by the wilderness, and there was some good setting with the snow and that, where in this sort of this location there. But overall, not a bad film, but just not one I'm gonna go back to a hell of a lot, really. But I think I'm probably just all right with the DVD for this one, personally. I think it only cost about 10 pence as well, and it turned out a decent film all the same, so it's actually not bad after all. So Hunted, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 there. I've got to say, guys, one of the surprises of the year, Power Ballad with Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas, right? So I was thinking, surely is this going to be a bit of a turkey, because I'm not a fan of the Jonas Brothers, and I do like Paul Rudd, but is this going to just be a generic throwaway movie? But oh no, it's actually pretty good, and I shouldn't be too surprised at that, really, because John Carney being in the director's chair, and obviously he gave us Sing Street, which was great. Love that movie so much. Once is really good. So yeah, this was really good, this one, where you've got a guy, I think he moved obviously from the US to Ireland. He fronts this wedding covers band, and he's kind of written all these songs penned by his own name stamp, and then one day, I think Danny Wilson, who were also a band, funny enough, but Danny Wilson played by Nick Jonas, that is, he duets with Nick Power, played by Paul Rudd, yeah, basically Nick Jonas and Paul Rudd decide to kind of work on some material together, and Paul Rudd basically gives some contribution to this song to put Danny Wilson back on the map, and it's a song where he kind of co-wrote, and then the movie is set at like 6 months later after that moment, and it makes for a really interesting film, this, to see how this affects both our main leading characters here. And it was just a very enjoyable film, really good acting from Paul Rudd, because I love Paul Rudd, and yeah, I think, as I say, over the years, I've really come to appreciate him more and more as an actor. But yeah, really enjoyed this. I definitely will be getting this one on Blu-ray. I'm trying to think what the main song is now is called, but that wasn't too bad either. So yeah, Power Ballad, I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10 there. Then I had a first time watch of the film The Breakup with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn, and yeah, you could say this was like a bit of a tragedy, sort of rom-com, downbeat rom-com to this one, but it was fine, it was decent, you know. I think, again, probably not one I'm gonna rewatch a hell of a lot, to be honest, because it's just not a very happy-go-lucky movie, this is, but it's got its decent comedic elements to it as well. I think it's just more for the bittersweet rivalry between both our main leads here, where their relationship is falling apart. I think you've got Vince Vaughn, who is in charge of like these Chicago bus tours, and Jennifer Aniston, I think, is in charge of, I think it's like this art exhibition, I think it is, or like this art gallery. So yeah, both kind of different jobs altogether, but yeah, it was good to see Jason Bateman in this, I think, in an early appearance in this film, and I think, trying to think, is it, the guy from Marvel, what's his name? The guy from Marvel. You're probably shouting at the screen now. Jon Favreau, that's who it is, Jon Favreau. And then you've also got, I think Judy Davis is in this as well. So, yeah, pretty solid cast, actually. Justin Long, so decent film, that. The Breakup, I'm going to give a 6 out of 10 there. The Professionals. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty good Western. Did enjoy this one. Yeah, it was great to see, obviously, Burt Lancaster in this film. He was probably my favourite character in this one. Claudia Cardinelli, yeah, she was also really good. Bittersweet rivalry between like these gunslingers and like this group of bandits just made for a very interesting story here, and trying to rescue Claudia Cardinelli's like character, because it's been kind of known that she has been like adopted and kidnapped by like this group of bandits. So yeah, solid Western. I really enjoyed the cinematography as well, and kind of like how it forms this group of gunslingers and with different personalities as well. So The Professionals, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. Then a film that my good buddy Tim kindly sent to me on DVD. And yeah, Tim, I finally got round to checking this film out, which I'm really glad I did, because do you know what? I actually quite enjoyed this one, to be fair. The film King of the Ants from Stuart Gordon. Yeah, decent, solid film. It was kind of not what I expected as well, where this guy, he's been assigned to basically catch out this accountant, this lady's husband, and basically he's promised like this sum of money, but then you kind of see it spirals out of control, because and shit hits the fan big style, because then he's, you know, having to basically, well, he's wanting this big sum of money, but then he's actually captured and kept sort of under these criminals, their own guard, really. And yeah, he's basically kept like sort of under their guard, but then he's kind of wanting a slice of revenge there. But also then he wants to make his acquaintance known with this accountant's wife as well. There was some very dark layers to it, though, some very nightmarish effects, as like it had a bit of a Lynchian-esque feel about it. I was like, something very bizarre, trippy imagery, but it was a decent film actually, and a decent story to that one, and good kind of revenge sort of final part of the film as well. So King of the Ants, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. And yeah, thanks to Tim for sending me the DVD of that one, because I did really enjoy that one, Tim. Then I watched the film Don Juan DeMarco. Yeah, I bought this one on DVD last year in a charity shop, and I thought, just wanting to check out more of the films I've got on my unwatched shelf, but has been sat on the shelf for like many months, if not getting on a year. And this was one of those. And yeah, kind of generic, average, middle of the road film. This I think what really kept the glue together with this film was Marlon Brando and Johnny Depp, Faye Dunaway. They were kind of your core characters in this film, but it was just a bit uninteresting. Guy played by Johnny Depp, and he claims that he's like kind of this sort of this shining knight, this like hero, Don Juan, but he's kind of, I don't know if it's schizophrenia, but he believes he's like this sort of this character. But yeah, he basically gives Marlon Brando, who's like this psychiatrist, like this life story. He also reaches out to him and gives him some kind of worthy advice in regards to like anything that's going on like within his marriage. So it was all right. It was not bad, but I think, to be honest, guys, if I never ever if I went through the rest of my life not ever seen this film again, I think I could live with that, to be honest, because it just wasn't a very interesting film. I think it's marked down as a comedy, but I didn't really laugh all that much, to be honest. There were some beautiful ladies in that film, though. A lot of it was a bit drab, to be honest, and not, I don't think this film I've got any desire to go back and rewatch. So Don Juan DeMarco, I'm going to give a 5.5 out of 10. Pretty standard, middle of the road for me, that one. But talking to Marlon Brando, yeah, he was excellent in it. I do want to actually go back and rewatch, is it The Freshman, starring Marlon Brando and Matthew Broderick, because I do remember that being a bit better, that one, to be honest. So then I went to the View Cinema in Cramlington. After when I finished work, I went to go and see this film. Oh boy. Backrooms. Now, this was a wild ride. This was a wild ride. Now, I must confess, I didn't watch the YouTube series I think it was based off. But my goodness, Ken Parsons, for him to do something like this at the age of 20, guys, I think that is just an incredible achievement. The film itself was just so surreal and out there. I honestly think as well, it's better to go into something like this completely blind, because I think I didn't watch a single trailer before watching this. But wow, yeah, you've got these kind of dreamscapes, the sort of the interchange with that, and the interior with these like rooms and how it meshes together, and you've got kind of this sound mixing and just the ambient like music style to really kind of fit in with kind of what you're visualizing, led really, really well by this main leading character. In he's trying to tell the actress, what's her name, Renee Rainsford, yeah. He's trying to persuade her that this is for real and it's not just for show. It's daunting and kind of out of the ordinary, but he's trying to show her into this new world, but also like a couple of his friends as well. But yeah, this was actually really good, very interesting. I think especially if you love David Lynch and like Lynchian-esque films, and yeah, I think this is definitely would fall into that category of it being like a bit of a Lynchian-esque experience. So Backrooms, I really enjoyed this. I definitely would watch this again. I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10 there. So far, probably the disappointment of the year award so far goes to Scary Movie 6. I'm not going to spend ages talking about this because why would I? It was just a mess, this film. It just didn't know what it wanted it to be. The first Scary Movie film in like 13 years, and this is the best it could do with it. It was just daft. It was cringe. It was so bad. It was so bad. Like, it was just ludicrous. Like, the Wayland brothers coming back was really good, and Regina Hall, it was good to see the returning cast. Doogie coming into this as well, but oh my god, guys, like, it was just pretty pants. Like, I think I only laughed about 2 or 3 times, and you know, there was just a lot of cringe dialogue. Like, I'm all for, you know, like daft, silly humor like this. And, you know, as you know me, I love a lot of these comedies with daft, silly humor attached to it. I love all of that, but this just went a bit far-fetched. It was just, when they parodied The Substance and Sinners, it didn't fulfill its potential of what could have been another real return to form for comedy, because we had obviously The Naked Gun last year, and I was thinking, okay, this is a bit of a return to form for comedy. Maybe, who knows, Scary Movie 6 might do the same here, but I think, to be honest, guys, the trailer was probably better than the movie itself, to be honest. So, Scary Movie 6, nah, I'm not going to spend any longer talking about this one. I just thought this was a bit of a pants entry into the Scary Movie universe. As Roy would say, what a bag of bollocks. And yeah, actually, Roy, probably don't bother watching this one, Roy, because I think Roy probably would absolutely detest this, and I can't really blame him, because yeah, it wasn't great, it wasn't good. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 there. Yeah, I think I gave it a 2.5 on Letterboxd. I think that was being pretty kind, to be honest. But we got back on track, though, because I had a rewatch of Disturbia. Also a banging tune from Rihanna as well. But yeah, Disturbia, yeah, this is a good Hitchcockian-esque sort of thriller, this one, with Shia LaBeouf, who was in a car incident with his dad. He lost his dad. Then Shia LaBeouf, he flips out and loses his shit with his teacher after a bit of an uncool remark. And then he's on 3 months house arrest, and he's got to stay in his house for like 3 months straight. And you start to see that really get the better of him. You see obviously his Xbox and I think is it iTunes and all that. There is a bit of a, I think that the signal starts to get a bit haywire there. But yeah, and then when he's getting like pranked as well by neighbours, he tries to go to his neighbours to say, look, what are you doing here? But then like I think the policeman who I think has relation to this this guy, this teacher, I've got to say, to be honest, this character's a bit of an arsehole, to be honest. Like, this police cop in the film, he's just not a very likeable character. But then you've got a really interesting side plot as well, where there's a new neighbour that moves into this neighbourhood, and next door to this other new neighbour where I think Shia LaBeouf starts to fall for her. So it's a good movie, kind of a modern take on like on a Rear Window, I would say. But yeah, and I'm trying to think, was it the guy, what's his name? David from the film 16 Blocks. I've got it right here, actually. David Morse, yeah. But he wasn't Inspector Morse in this. But yeah, David Morse, he played a very interesting side character as well. So yeah, Disturbia, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. Then I watched the film Hush. Yeah, I'm not telling you to be quiet, by the way. Yeah, this came out, I think, 2007. I think it was done on like a shoestring budget. British roads, sort of like based thriller, like on the road thriller. And yeah, I really did enjoy this one. This is got the guy, I think, from, is it the Doctor Who episode 42 with David Tennant in it, and obviously Martha is in that one as well, but also, yeah, some other recognisable actors, but very solid film. I think it might have been kind of taken big influence from like Joel, Steven Spielberg's first ever film. We're going to talk about Spielberg again shortly, but yeah, it was kind of just really great, where you see this couple have just come back from holiday. Their relationship is kind of on the rocks, and they start to suspect that someone is at the back of this truck, and they think it's someone who's wounded, and it kind of leaves it on a bit of a hanging thread, because there's this main guy who wants to know more and more about the real truth, and this this truck driver, and he kind of basically goes after him. But on top of this, he's got his kind of rocky relationship with like his other half there. But yeah, there's one scene where he's at the petrol station. I think his car, like the tyre breaks, like the tyre dies on him, and then he has to go off on someone else's car to kind of go after this guy, like this lorry truck driver. And it was a very cool film, actually. I think it clocked in for under 80 minutes, but I'm a sucker for British movies, and this really ticked the box of it. It was a really cool British hidden gem there. I know Tim and Marcus, they really like this one as well. So yeah, this is a good film. Actually, I think it might be Marcus who like kindly passed on the Blu-ray of this, because yeah, good one, Marcus. Yeah, because I did really enjoy that one, to be fair. So yeah, the film Hush, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 for a slice of Billy Wilder's filmography. And I watched the film The Lost Weekend. Now, I feel like I'm going to have to watch this film again, guys, because I don't know if I was personally in the right mood to watch this film that day. But I did think it was still good, did think it was really well made, super well acted. It was good to see, because I haven't seen too many films with Ray Milland in there, and it was good to see a film with Ray Milland in there. But yeah, where he's playing someone who's struggling with alcohol, he feels that he kind of feels that the world is just against him. He's kind of just on a real decline. He's on a bit of a downfall, writer's block. So he tries to kind of see what it's like to become sober, but alcohol is just getting the better of him, really getting just kind of overpowering him, and he starts to have that sense of, like detachment from, like kind of others around him, but he's feeling a bit lugubrious, and he's very like kind of deflated. And yeah, there's the one scene where he imagines like there's like this imagery. Was it like a bat or something? He's basically in the living room. He's actually seen something like I can't remember. Was it a bat or something? Like dancing around like this living room. But yeah, like and then you just go and see him back and forth to this bar. He's trying to work on like his new like novel as well. But it's interesting learning from kind of others around him and how what they thought to Ray Milland's like character, and they're trying to like look out for him and reach out to him. So yeah, it was a good movie, this one. It was kind of a bit of a noir, but I think the reason why I didn't love it though, guys, whilst I do think it's a good film, don't get us wrong, I think at this point, it's probably impossible for Billy Wilder to make a bad movie, to be honest. I probably just wasn't in the right mood when I watched this film. And it's very bleak, lugubrious, kind of a bit depressing, but which I don't mind that in a film sometimes, but yeah, I think when I do watch this one again, I think I would appreciate it all the more. But The Lost Weekend, I'm still going to give it a good score because it's still a very good, well-made, well-acted film. The Lost Weekend, I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10 there. Yeah, Tim kindly sent me this DVD of this a while back, over a year ago. But yeah, Tim finally got onto this film, buddy. And that is an Alejandro Jodorowsky film, and that is Santa Sangre. Poof, this film was an experience, but with it being Jodorowsky, is it any surprise, really? I mean, I watched El Topo, The Holy Mountain. Woof, they're a bit of an eye-opener, those films, and I think I watched a couple of these other films. I think it was Endless Poetry and something else, but I think that film was a bit more accessible. But yeah, Santa Sangre, where you're following this guy, he's in this hospital, and he's basically, he's kind of been through a bit of a traumatic past experience, but then he decides he wants to return home to his mother, and it's kind of like this sort of psychedelic sort of circus that his mother is like in charge of, and you really see how that's going to go. But when they are reunited, mother and son, she wants to teach him the ways of going on this kind of dark and surreal sort of murderous spree, and there are some very weird, eccentric elements to this one where you're thinking, wow, is this film actually going there to that upper degree? But yeah, there's some kind of bizarre circus acts involved. There's one scene, I think, where there's lots of people running towards, I think by this shore, I think it is. I think there's one scene where this carriage is fallen off this cliff. But yeah, there was quite a horrific scene, actually, that I didn't really enjoy watching that scene. But yeah, it's an interesting watch, but I don't think it's going to have much rewatchability for me. But no, thanks to Tim for sending me the DVD, because I still liked the film, and yeah, it was quite interesting with that whole, I think, theatre play going on in this film as well. But I just don't think there's much about this film that screams rewatch and screams rewatch. I think I will return to this film one day in the future, but I think I probably more for the weirdness and wackiness of something like El Topo, the Holy Mountain, and it isn't too depressing as well or depraved. I think I kind of might go back to those films a bit more. But Santa Sangre, yeah, the makeup, the costumes, and the colour grading was all, there was a lot to still admire here. I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10. Gotta be one of the best new releases of the year. I really enjoyed this. I think Jordan, Movie Worm, Mike, did you see that? Has spoken really highly of this film, and that is Obsession. This was fantastic. I really enjoyed this. Again, watch this at the View Cinema in Cramlington after work. And yeah, like, it was a great cinematic experience like it was with Backrooms. And yeah, I think there was just times where there would be a couple of times where the audience would be laughing, but then they'd absolutely shit themselves. Like this lass that was sat next to me, I think she was like, "Oh, I shat myself." I found it really amusing. Like, but mind you, that also she was looking through her phone like nearly the entire film. I mean, come on, darling, did you really have to do that throughout the film? It was a bit off-putting. Why do people look at their phones during the film, man? Poof, it's just bizarre, innit? Like, who goes to the cinema to stare at a screen anyways? Enough waffling about that. But it was a great cinematic experience all the same. But yeah, it was just interesting that this main guy, and he makes this wish to kind of improve this relationship with this like love interest. I think I'm trying to think what her name is. Is it Nikki? The actress was a fucking great in this film, I've got to say, though. She was excellent. And the main guy, I'm trying to think, was it Michael Johnson? I think it was. He was fantastic in this film. So the main couple were the real, they really had the bread and the butter for this film. But it was really just interesting seeing this main lass in the film just adapt and evolve as a character, how this relationship is going to turn out as the film goes on. There's one scene that did remind me of when Mrs. Doyle in Father Ted, you know, like when she's in the living room and it's dark and she's holding like a tea set. There was one scene in this film that did remind me of that, actually. But yeah, Obsession, really enjoyed it. Quite a dark ending, but I definitely would watch this one again in future. And like Backrooms, I was meant to say there, definitely one I would pick up on Blu-ray at some point. So I'm going to give that one an 8 out of 10 there. The Relic. And yeah, this was actually quite good, actually. I quite enjoyed this. Obviously talked about it in a lot more in depth in the latest episode of You Watch Shelf, but yeah, I enjoyed this one. Decent creature feature. I gotta be honest, yeah, there was a lot of dark scenes, quite poorly lit at times, but there was enough there to carry its weight, sort of thing, where it was like, really, like, enjoyable seeing this creature being the ultimate terror and the threat of the story, keeping it like it's kind of the glue together, really. And yeah, I found it an interesting setting with this Chicago exhibition museum as well. So yeah, decent. Really good to see Tom Sizemore and that what's the actress, Penelope Ann Miller in there. They made a decent duo. So great to see Brooks from Shawshank in there as well. So The Relic, I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10. Then I went to go and watch Steven Spielberg's latest film, Disclosure Day. Wow, guys, this was so cool. Probably better than what the trailer made it out to be. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, like Emily Blunt, one of her best performances in there, and obviously Colin Firth was just such a badass character in this film. You know, like working part of this like US government, he's trying to track down these alien extraterrestrial like files, and he thinks it's oh, I'm so sorry guys, the main actor in this, I'm having a bit of a mind blank. Connor, was it someone? Connor? Josh O'Connor, yeah, Josh O'Connor. He's basically responsible for keeping this data, these files, hidden from like the US government that contains info about this like alien life and stuff. And meanwhile you've got a really interesting side plot with Emily Blunt, who's kind of fallen victim to this new alien like kind of life, where she's kind of now speaking in multiple languages, but then she's kind of overpowered by this this alien experience going on, when obviously she was broadcast one day and she kind of speaks in this alien like kind of language, and then it makes for a real wild goose chase where Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt team up together. You've got an interesting side story with Josh O'Connor's other half in the film as well. And I kind of liked the interactions with Colin Firth, where he's kind of trying to find out more info about this. One really cool scene by this train as well. The train scene was probably my favourite scene of the movie. Had a very good time with this one at the cinema. Probably will end up being in my top 10 favourite films of 2026 when I come to doing that video later in the year. But yeah, and Spielberg is just, what a man. I mean, he's just one of the best directors ever in A. Let's be honest. He's just, you know, like, as I say, he brought the magic to blockbusters and a lot of other movies many years later. It's just, yeah, and he absolutely delivered with this. Disclosure Day, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 there. Went to Tyneside Cinema to go and see The Seven Samurai. I think this might be my 4th viewing of this now, and I've got to be honest, guys, when I originally watched The Seven Samurai, I liked it, but it wasn't a love at first sight sort of movie. You know, I really need to do a video about films I really grew to appreciate more on subsequent viewings, and this would be one of them. And yeah, I've got to be honest, this was probably my best viewing of this film. Not only that, it was because it was my dad's first time viewing of this, and it was just the perfect time to watch it. I mean, it was a bit rainy, you know, grey weather out there, and I think whenever I watch this film, it's going to be when it's on like either a rainy night or, you know, when it's like kind of cloudy grey weather out there. And yeah, it's just a great experience. Obviously, just a great tale of, you know, this tribe and these group of warriors that are basically the 7 warriors that are basically wanting to take on this group of bandits, and they go under training, even the whole introduction to these characters, but the underway with training side of it is just so interesting because the characters are so interesting to watch. But when you get to kind of the village being kind of hurdled by like these bandits, you really kind of see these 7 characters, a couple of additions, just make a stand to that, and, you know, like to protect these villagers from harm's way. And it is just a really good film. The black and white cinematography is beautiful. The score, my favourite side of the movie is probably the forest as well, and that rain as well. But yeah, those action set pieces is great, and it's just the original Magnificent Seven, and if it was, and the Magnificent Seven probably might not have existed if it wasn't for what Akira Kurosawa accomplished here. So the Seven Samurai, I think this is a film, whilst I don't think it's my favourite Kurosawa film, it's a film that it's really grown on me, and it's probably only going to get better and better on subsequent viewings. I can already see that happening already. So the Seven Samurai, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10, and my dad absolutely loved it as well with his first time viewing of this one. Right, and then I had a rewatch of Do the Right Thing, and I did the right thing by rewatching this after about 5 years since I last watched it, and yeah, very good drama, this one, and I'm glad I rewatched it actually, because yeah, it's what I describe as a bit of a summary film based in this neighborhood of NYC. You've got the guy Sal, who runs like kind of this business with like pizza, this pizza store, and you've got what is his name? John Turturro. I think he plays his son in there, but you've also got the guy played by Spike Lee, who's like a he kind of delivers pizza. So yeah, also you got like other kind of. It kind of just, it's kind of in a bit of a character study, because you focus on this mayor. This mayor's my favourite character in it, man, where he's just trying to impress like this lady, like on like the top of the stairs, and also you've got these three guys that just hang out by like kind of, I think this outside diner. You've got the guy who's, I think, what's his name? This Radio Raheem, and he's got like obviously his stereo with him, and he constantly playing "Fight the Power" by Public Enemy. What a track! This guy who's kind of wandering around the streets, and he's trying to make a bit of a protest there. So yeah, you've got a bundle of interesting personalities there. And that ending is a bit kind of unexpected what happens to the ending, but some very solid acting and just kind of a bit of a character study. But you also I tell you what else I really like in this film as well. I think the character's called Bugging Out, song by Tribe Called Quest as well, and he's trying to persuade Sal into kind of having portraits of celebrities on this wall of fame, because he feels like these like celebrities, these well-known people, have been kind of neglected from the wall of fame. And yeah, just really good drama from Spike Lee, and it was long overdue a rewatch, this one. So Do the Right Thing, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 there. I had another rewatch. It's been a bit of a rewatch month, this has, and again, after watching Disclosure Day, I was in the mood to go back and rewatch one of Spielberg's classics, and that's E.T. Again, not seen E.T. for a number of years, so was long overdue a rewatch, and yet still holds up on rewatch. You know, just this lovable alien that builds a great friendship with Elliot, and Elliot is interlinked with this alien. And you've got a great kind of, it's kind of like a bit of a dysfunctional family plot going on with this, but also the FBI and that side plot where they're trying to track down this alien that's landed and from this mothership. It's just a, yeah, really enjoyable, fun-loving film, this one. The music from John Williams, the scenes where obviously that iconic scene with Elliot cycling along over the moon with E.T. Just, yeah, that show and tell scene I'm trying to think, is it Dee Wallace plays a great mother character in this film as well. Yeah, had a great time rewatching this one, and I think it's the first time I watched it on Blu-ray actually, and the Blu-ray looks pretty good, so I actually don't feel like I need to upgrade this one to 4K because the Blu-ray did the job, to be honest. So yeah, E.T. I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10 there. Another one of those films I've had sat on the shelf for over a year now, and I decided to watch the film A Bunch of Amateurs. Actually, this was surprisingly decent because when I saw the cover, I thought for 20 pence, I'll give it a go because why not give it a go? But I was just thinking, this is going to be just a throwaway, bang average, nothing sort of movie. And no, it was actually pretty decent. Burt Reynolds plays like this Hollywood star, and his career is on a little bit of a downfall there. And he wants to kind of go into theatre, this production of King Lear. So he transfers to, I think is it Stratford, I think it is. And yeah, he works on this theatre play of King Lear in this independent company, and it's led by, I'm trying to think of the actress's name, but she's really good in there. I love their chemistry. Derek Jacobi, great to see him in this film. Obviously, Derek Jacobi I always see in like Last Tango in Halifax, or obviously Professor Yana in Doctor Who, but great to see him something else with him in this. And yeah, just a self-aware, enjoyable film, this one. Some comedic aspects to this one. I really liked where this theatre production takes place as well. So yeah, actually a decent film, and good kind of changing direction for, you know, like one character to the next as well. And, you know, Burt Reynolds, you see as this grumpy old man at first, but then you start to see him have a bit of an attachment with this, how this production's done, but taking a liking to one character to next. So yeah, A Bunch of Amateurs, I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10. Good Sunday viewing that. We're going to finish the video with a couple of Ray Harryhausen films, and I went to Tyneside Cinema yesterday as I'm recording this on Monday the 15th of June, and I went to see it on the big screen, childhood favourite for me, Jason and the Argonauts. Great to finally see this on the big screen, and yeah, just a awesome time of a film. You know, Jason, who basically this sailor, and he kind of wants to return home, but he kind of has the quest to basically sort of take on this golden fleece, and on this adventure with him and his allies, he you know, has to take on like these creatures, these monsters. It is just a fun movie, this. Creativity from Ray Harryhausen. I just love the designs on like these monsters, these creatures. That scene with Talos, and you know, where like Hercules goes along to this cave. It's great to see Patrick Troughton make an appearance in this one as well. The ship is about to kind of take its toll there. But yeah, it's just a fun movie, great. And obviously that scene with Talos, but obviously, you know, like obviously that classic skeleton scene as well. But again, still held up on rewatch. I think it was only a couple of years ago since I've last seen this, but had a really enjoyable time, and definitely will be returning to this one again in the not far distant future. Great music from Bernard Herrmann as well. So yeah, Jason the Argonauts, I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10. I think this is a fantastic fun viewing, that one. Had a first time watch of a film I've had sat on the unwatched shelf, I think for many a year now. But as I say, I've just been back from Tyneside Cinema to watch Jason. So I thought I would finally check out for the first time The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. I didn't know this was in colour actually, but yeah, it was great to see this at long last. And yet again, not as good as Jason the Argonauts, but fun movie, all the same. Again, Sinbad, who there's this spell that's been cast upon his fiance, who's basically been like kind of mimalized, and basically he's got to kind of go on the quest to lift the spell so she can go back to her shape again, but like to take on like this like wizard, this evil wizard as well afoot. Really enjoyed the battle between, was it Cyclops and that monster, that creature. Like, that was such a badass event that happened in the film. But yeah, just some great visual effects for ahead of its time. I think this came out, was it 1958? And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Again, one quite scene where I think it's like this lady, I think she changes into like this character, kind of like with these magic spells, and like good villain to this one. Again, one scene I really enjoyed the kind of this battle scene like by this cave as well, and you get the introduction to a couple of these monsters. So yeah, I haven't seen the first 6 films, but I did really enjoy the 7th film. So the 7th Voyage of Sinbad, I'm going to give 6.5 out of 10, because I did quite enjoy that one. So guys, overall so far been a very solid month for movie watching, first time watches and revisits there. So guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on all of these movies I've talked about for part 1 of my June 2026 watches. What's your thoughts on these films? Do you think I'm talking at the back of my head with some of these movies? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I would love to know all of that good stuff in the comments down below there. So I think the next video will be the latest episodes of the Young Watch Shelf series. I think that'll be coming out on Wednesday. And then I still need to knuckle down and do my 10 feel-good films response video. I was kindly tagged by Roy to do that. So that'll probably be my next video after the latest Unwatched Shelf episode. So yeah, guys, really enjoyed coming on camera talking about the movies I've watched in the month of June so far, and of course either later on either 30th of June or 1st or 2nd of July, I will be part 2 of my June 2026 watches there. So yeah, guys, hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead, and I'll be back for the next episode of the Unwatched Shelf series, bring that on, eh? So thanks for watching, cheers for stopping by, and until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye-bye. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.